Okay, hot take. Samira's nerf is excessive, and she's currently kind of balanced. Let me explain. So when we look at the state of TFT, what is the current meta? We have Annie reroll, we have Jazz, we have Samira as a country reroll. Don't get me wrong, I do accept that. And yes, it does need a slight nerf, and I do think the execution nerf is perfect the way it is, and that's all she needed. These three nerfs are excessive, because now you're taking the #1 carry in the comp, and you are literally deleting it. You're nerfing its executioner, you're nerfing its country, and you're nerfing the headliner itself. Can you now go Urgot carry? Maybe. But how good is that, right? It already country, if anyone's like, okay, if you play the comp, you should know that country is a battle for top 4 if you don't hit. But say you do hit, you're an uncontested lobby, and you're high rolling out of your ass. Yeah, you're now fighting for a first, but do you still lose to everything else? Yes, you lose to Fast 9, you lose to Jazz. And do I have a problem with that? No, I am actually fine with that because the way Jazz and top, like, Fast 9 comps are. Fast 9, I should not be beating it. Yes, I could have a full 3-star board, and then, yeah, I'll give it a run for its money, and maybe I'll win. Jazz, it's a little overtuned, but the way the trait works, it's actually kind of cool in my eyes, and I do think, yeah, it should be beating, country. But unless I have 7 country, which I'll be honest, I've only had it once in maybe the 100 games I've played. I've never really seen 7 country because, well, emblems are super rare. And on top of that, you don't get tomes, the augments don't give it to me, and I never see a country emblem on carousel. I swear I see 8-bit everywhere though. But if you were really thinking country is an overtuned comp, I want you to go play it right now. Play 10 games, and if you're uncontested, you'll probably win 8 of them if you know how to run it. And it's pretty easy. You just look at mobiletics and you just play flex off whatever headliner you get. But tell me how many times you get a first, right? When I say win, that's top 4. How many times did you get first place, right? Did you get it often? Probably not. I want to say in that 10 games, you probably got a few times you got contested, like 2 or 3 times, especially in your lower ranks. I noticed in lower ranks that Samira is very, very contested. In higher ranks, no one goes it. Why? Because you're staying at level 8 or 7. You're never going 9. And the meta right now is to basically have a stable board, use strongest board, and you're going to flex your way to Fast 9 and get a headliner 5 cost and win the game like that. And that's fine. And I think that is a very healthy way TFT should be. But Samira can't do that. Why? Because Samira needs to be perfect 3-star. You need Samira 3, you need Urgot 3, you need Set 3, and you need, Vex 2 and Mumu 2. You don't really need them 3-star. And then, that's when you'll finally be strong. And let me just show you this right now. This is a game I had where I had 5 Akali players and Karthus players. They weren't all Karthus, some of them were KDA, but it's all Akali. And I think Akali Executioner needs massive nerfs. I don't like the idea of an invulnerable ulting unit that goes into my backline, deletes me, and then just dips out while invulnerable, like Fiora did, but better, because she gets out, and she's now untargeted, and she does it again, and again, and again. Look what happens when they all pivot. Here's the clip. Okay, let's talk about my fucking lobby really quickly. Ready? Akali. Karthus. So this guy's looking for Akali. This guy tried to go Karthus, so he wanted Akali. This guy has... Where is she? Akali? I think it's one more, right? Yeah, Karthus, Akali. Dude, they're not nerfing Executioner or Akali. I don't fucking get it. I hate this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people trying to get Akali and Karthus. God, man. Alright, this is the end result of all those Karthus Akali players. Ready? Fast 9, Alawi. This guy say Jazz, because Jazz. Fast 9, Lucian Headliner. And Pentakill, Ziggs. That is the state of TFT, and it's not bad. I think going Fast 9 is not bad. It actually is pretty good in my eyes. But why are we nerfing the comp that stays 8 and 7, right? That's my question. I don't know. Maybe I'm salty. That's just how I feel about all this, so is what it is. Alright, so you just watched that clip. And now, if I were to ask you, how many country players did you see? 0. It is uncontested, and there's still 0. I will show you my last 10 games. And if I'm going country, no one's going it, because everyone knows. In Emerald Plus, if someone is contesting you, there is no point. Because country is a comp that you need, like I said, you need a 3-star everything to win. The top 4, can you arguably do it with a Samira too? Yeah, if the lobby's low rolling, yeah, you could. But that's not gonna happen all the time, right? It's not worth it. People realize that Samira isn't that good. She is good when 3-starred, with best in slot. I'm going to show you. Again, I had gold or prismatic ticket. I had early Samiras, and I was loose streaking with a Samira 2, Urgot 2, perfect frontline with country. Now, why was I loose streaking? Well, arguably it was I had no combo augments, but Samira without best in slot, you're gonna see I had 0 gloves that game. I was never last place. I was always in the middle. I was like rubber banding my win streak and loss streak. On top of that, I never got a single glove from Krugs. Without best in slot, Samira is screwed. I'm just gonna say it. You're gonna see this perfect 3-star board, 8th place. I died after chickens, or raptors, or whatever we call them. If a comp is requiring so much to win, why is it getting this much nerfs? It is getting 3 nerfs to the main carry. That is absurd to me. And I'm not mad at the devs. I'm really not. If you look at the data, it's not shocking why they nerfed it, right? Country is a very highly played comp, especially in lower ranks. And on top of that, it was very meta when the game first came out, because although a lot of people in PvE knew that, 5-stars were overpowered, we didn't know how to get there. Now how are we doing it? We have Disco, because Disco early game is way better than Country. If you go Country early game, you cannot tell me it is strong. Yes, you get a Dreadsteel, but is it overpowered? No, not really. It is very rarely able to carry you. But Disco, if you get 2-star Nami, 2-star Tarek, which isn't hard to get, and you get one of them as a headliner, especially, that's really easy. Especially if you get Gragas headliner. You're unkillable, the Disco Ball heals you, and you're just gonna chip away at the enemy, and I'm not against that. Annie. You have Annie, you don't even need a 3-star, you're 2-star, and you just, streak, and then you just tempo the lobby. Comps like that are able to tempo the lobby, and then their items are very flex, right? You can then transfer them to Twisted Fate, you can transfer them to Karthus, Akali, etc. Ahri, whatever you want. And then you go Fast 9. But are they better than Samira? Of course not. Or Corsair. Samira's not better, by any means. And on top of that, once again, you hit everything. So because of that, I don't think that Samira needs all these nerfs. I really hope, by some miracle, that the devs see this, because right now the state of TFT, although it's very tilting to me at times, I just played a lot, I don't think it's actually bad. I think the state of TFT right now is very flex. You have a lot of comps, especially mid-early game and late game, that you can run, and I like that. I really did. Set 9.5 felt really bad, because at endgame, if you weren't going Demacia Slayers or Noxus Slayers, you lost the game. You maybe could get away with a perfect Azir board, but it was very hard. So I'm very fine with how this state is, where I can go Country, I can go Jazz, I can go Executioner, etc. And I really don't want to lose that. I don't want, these nerfs to go through. And then everyone's going to be running Karthus Akali next set, because Karthus is not getting nerfed, Akali is barely getting nerfed, Country is getting wiped, Jazz is getting wiped, and Heartsteel is getting buffed. So it's going to become a Fast 9 meta, which, again, I'm fine with a Fast 9 meta. Annie is somewhat getting nerfed, but it doesn't matter. I think a lot of lower ranked people don't realize Annie 3, even though, although very strong, is not the whole purpose. You give her Jewel Gauntlet, fine, you still build the same items. You give her Jewel Gauntlet, you give her Shojins, and she's still that strong, 1-cost unit that you can headliner, and you just tempo the lobby, and that's what people use Annie for. I think the devs need to relook this patch, just slightly. It's not bad. It looks, a lot of things look good, but I do want them to reevaluate what is getting nerfed and buffed. I do think Akali Executioner needs to not be invulnerable. That needs to go. I do think Karthus, if you're not gonna nerf Akali, you're gonna nerf Karthus. Heartsteel, you really want to be careful. You're buffing Yone, Ezreal, and Cassante. That is a really big gamble. Because right now, Heartsteel isn't good because the units are so weak. And because of that, you can't really tempo, you can't do much, and you kind of get burned out, which is fine. That's how econ, should work. Your economy traits should be like you're trading your life force for it. But if you're gonna delete all the 3-cost reroll, because all that's left is now Lux, and once again, Lux is that you must hit everything to fight for a top 4, not even a first. If you're gonna do that, you need to be very careful, because you're now power creeping everything up, and you're making it so this game will become like set 9.5 was, where you can only run so many comps. And I really think right now, the game isn't actually that bad. It is annoying getting, Khalid or Karthus, but I do hope that some 3-cost reroll will be viable. I don't want them to be overpowered as they currently are. Jazz is definitely overtuned. Country can use a small nerf, especially the execution nerf that's going through, that literally hits Karthus, Akali, and Samira. But if you're going to also hit Samira's headliner and then the country, which I'll be honest, I actually didn't know country buffed that, so cool. You're really just deleting the trait. I don't think you can go country like Masha reroll with Urgot carry. I think that is okay, but you're fighting for a top 4. Because Urgot, if he gets killed right away, which, I'll be honest, any 3 when fight starts, if Urgot is not in this like second row, he's dead. He's very dead. So I hope they do look at this. I hope they reevaluate. But, once again, I could be wrong. I'm very biased towards my favorite comps, obviously, for good reason. But I'm hoping that what I'm saying is good for the game's longevity for this set. So I hope you guys all enjoyed. Please let me know what you think. If I'm wrong, I'm happy to discuss in the comments. So please let me know and have a nice day.